Greetings, Toiletarians! I'm your host, Toilet Terry, and you guys are all watching Toilet Talk with Terry. That's me, obviously. The discussion topic for this episode is why mothers know best. If you want to know why mothers know best, just ask them. And they will simply say to you, yes, I know best, or yes, mother knows best. But I assure you, they will not start singing that song from Disney's Tangled. Well, she was a mean old lady, so she don't count. To sum it up in 3 pointers, number 1, they gave birth to you. Number 2, they raised you. Number 3, they gave you brilliant advice as you were growing up. One thing you gotta know about women is they think they always know best. And it's true. So, to emphasize the 3 pointers, let's start with number 1. She gave birth to you. Well, unless the birthing process knocked her out. Just kidding. Just kidding. But they will remember the pain that went with it. However, if you were to ask them a few years later, do you remember how painful it was? How painful the birthing process was? They'd probably tell you no, unless they had another kid recently. And they'll tell you that that's because the joy that comes from raising a kid, a child, far exceeds anything that insinuates pain, discomfort, etc., etc. Y'all know what I'm getting at. Now on to point number 2. They raised you. For you parents out there watching, you know what it's like when you enter the empty darkness and quietness of their bedroom at night when they're asleep. Just watching them as they're asleep, watching them breathe while they're asleep. That little grin that you get from time to time. When the teeth first start popping through the gums. And that favorite stuffed animal. Now on to point number 3. They gave you brilliant advice as you were growing up. I know my mother did, as all mothers should. With this one, I am going to emphasize a little bit on the last pointer. They raised you. The advice that you give your child goes into raising them. Raising a child is something you will look back on forever. You may never be able to relive it again, but the great memories, even the bad ones, the good and the bad, far exceed pain that comes one day when you have to let them go. At least that's what my mother told me. But you're so proud of them. You see, you'll look back, you'll see the kind of person that they've become, and you'll be proud because of what you have done. You'll look back and you'll be like, wow, they're much better now than they used to be. Wow, they used to be such a pain in the butt. I'm glad they don't do that anymore. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. But I kind of miss it. But let's face it, there still come times when you have to give them a nudge or a shove every once in a while just to say, that's not right. Or you just do it because you miss it. Remember, they will always be your baby, but you will not always be their authority. But there is never going to come a time when you stop thinking every now and then, I just want to give them a nudge or a shove or even a punch so bad right now. So I guess the moral of this episode could be something along the lines of, like I just said, your kids will always be your babies, but you will not always be their authority. And that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, this discussion topic. Don't forget to drop a like on this episode if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button for more upcoming content, which will be amazing. Y'all won't want to miss it. All right, keep it real. Peace out.